Please, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Roll call, please, Carol Sue.
Ron Miller.
Present.
Chris Armstrong.
Here.
Mayor Franklin.
Here. Approval of minutes December 5th and December 10th.
I would make them, I've read them both, and I would make a motion that we approve the minutes for both the December 10th and December 5th, 2012 meetings.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor of approval of the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It passes on a vote of 3-0. Approval of claims in the amount of $121,018.94.
I would make the motion that the claims in the amount of $121,018.94 be approved as presented.
Second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the claims, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes on a vote of 3-0. There are no licenses to be considered. Are there any changes to the agenda?
None.
No.
Hearing none. Is there any there's no old business. Under new business, Matthew Warren's soil boring locations, yes.
My picture wasn't very good. Does anyone know where it's located?
It's over by Ottawa,
On 6th Street?
between Matthew Warren Plant 2, so that's between Miami, East Miami, 6th Street, and Ottawa Street. And
Mayor Franklin, I think someone's here from Matthew Warren.
please come on up. Can you explain to us the process that you're going through?
Yeah, my name is Andy Wallace, and I work with Environmental Resources Management. I'm a consultant to Meritor, and Meritor holds the environmental liability to the environmental investigation at the Matthew Warren facility.
Uh-huh.
We have proposed 3 soil borings, and they're temporary borings. Basically, we're going back to an area where that we've already drilled, collecting a couple soil samples, and then placing bentonite down the holes in a manner consistent with IDEM policy for boring abandonment. So it's a temporary process. Each boring will take approximately 1 hour. We'll call in the utilities for the public locates prior to drilling. We'll also check with the streets commissioner as far as scheduling. We don't think we need to block off any part of the streets at all. However, there might be some access issues to sidewalks, but we'll have cones and the proper caution markings out while we do this.
Sure. This process has been going on for a number of years now, hasn't it?
It has.
Like at least 10 years?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with it and what you're doing.
Okay.
And this is just a formality that we have to go through to do this. But
Sure.
I'm comfortable with what you're doing. Are there any
And
questions?
just a question for information. So, reading this stuff, the bore will be something like 6 to 8 feet deep?
Yeah, it'll go down. It'll go down well, about 10 to 12 feet
And then
deep.
is there a device or something that's put in the bore to collect runoff or whatever?
Well, what it is it's plastic tubing, and we get a little geoprobe rig. It's about the size of a small compact car, and this drills it down, and it's about 3-inch diameter. And these tubes collect the soil, and then you extract them straight up through the same hole that you push them down.
So it's not an ongoing monitoring, just a one-time?
No, yeah, and I did notice in the second paragraph there is a reference to wells on the second sentence of the handout, and that actually should be borings. That's a typo.
Okay.
These are just temporary borings. Once we complete the boring, we'll fill it with bentonite, and that'll be that.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right. I would make a motion that we approve the proposed soil boring drilling to take place in the area near Matthew Warren Plant 2.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you very much. Building Department report.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I submitted my report for review. If you have any questions on that report. That being said, I do have one bit of new business. I have a person who has requested that a condemnation order be lifted on a property at 209 East Ottawa Street. Mr. Espinoza has entered into a contract to purchase the property, and he requests the condemnation notice be removed so that he can turn utilities on, so he can work and remodel the home. Mr. Espinoza and I have put together a schedule and a listing of items that he's going to be working on. And he understands that the building can only be used to repair at this point. Once the repairs are done, then we will do an inspection. If the inspection is approved, then we will issue him an occupancy permit to occupy, a certificate of occupancy. He has brought the taxes current on the property, so there is no tax debt on the property right now. He is in a land contract or a lease-to-own contract with a family trust that owned the property. So everything on the structure and what he wants to do, I would agree with. I mean, Mr. Espinoza is here presently if somebody would like to speak to him. But I would make a recommendation to the board that they do allow the condemnation order to be lifted, allowing him the time that he needs to repair the property, with the clarification that the home is not to be occupied until all repairs are done and it has received a certificate of occupancy.
Is the condemnation order, is it necessary to lift that to allow the utilities to be turned on?
For me right now, that's a gray area because we do have conditions in some locations where has been condemned and the utilities are still there.
Right.
Whether or not the proper people just haven't been notified yet, I don't know. But I think the liability end of it for our office is that if we condemn something, we would move forward to have all utilities shut off immediately just for protection of the property and the public.
Right.
So I can't answer your question. I don't know or not. Our preference now is that if it is a condemned property, utilities are shut off, and it's not allowed to be turned back on until the condemnation order has been removed.
Right. I like your thinking on being able to follow up on this, and I would assume that if significant progress or the scheduled progress is not reached those levels or those plateaus, that the condemnation would be placed back into effect.
That is correct. If it is possible, and I don't know if it's possible, is that if the condemnation order can be just modified to the point that it is a modification that allows repairs to be done on the property, but it's not actually removed from the property, that might be a better avenue, but I don't know if that is a legal way to do that or not.
I think we can do that.
I think that would be my preference.
Right.
My understanding right now is that there's someone new involved, that they have plans, and that we think they're operating in good faith, and that they're going to follow through, but they haven't had time to do that yet.
Right.
And so from our point of view, I think what we're saying is we don't want to take it off the list until those repairs have been made, or at least substantial progress has been made. So we know, in fact, that it's not condemnable.
Yeah, and that would be my preference, and I say that because, you know, as we're all new to this and we work through the process, I'll cite one example, and that was the building that burned on Thanksgiving Day. It had been condemned for a long time, a number of years, but we were stunned to find out that they had utilities. They had electricity in the building. So it gives the property owner no reason. You know, the building is doing exactly what he wants it to do, to use it for storage, and he has no incentive to improve the building if we just allow them to follow through and don't lift the condemnation. So if based on your opinion, if we're okay in doing that, that would be my preference too.
And we can also build in the structure within the building permit application as well. I mean, we can include that in notes. I mean, the schedule, you know, and the repairs required will be part of the building permit application. It'll be inserted as the note, so it'll be part of that document as well.
I like your strategy, the way that you're doing it, and you're going to follow up on it. Based on the city attorney's recommendation, I would make the motion that we leave the condemnation in place, but allow the utilities to be turned on as long as progress is being made. Does that work?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded. Did you have a question? Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded to leave the condemnation in place, but to allow the utilities to be turned on so that improvements could be made. And that's the motion. And it's been moved and properly seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. And Bill, if you would keep us posted on that, how things are going, the progress that's being made, and thank you for your investment, and we look forward to working with you. Yeah, let us know how we can help.
Do you want to include that you're accepting his report too?
I'd make a motion to accept the rest of this report.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded to accept the rest of the building commissioner's report. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you, Bill. Code enforcement officer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I've got in front of you a copy of my report. Before we get into the notices to appear, do you have any questions on any of it other than the notices to appear? All right, if not, we'll move on.
Hold on. Okay, I have no questions. Do you have any questions?
Finally towed 2 cars. George,
Yes,
there are actually 2 cars towed.
yeah, well, one was a camper, but yes, there was
Two vehicles.
So,
Usually when you notify them, they do whatever to move them so that they don't get towed, but they leave them. In this case, they didn't move them.
it made no effort whatsoever.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Any more questions before we move on to the orders to appear? All right, hearing none. Your floor.
Okay, notices to appear for 6 notices to appear. I went out and re-inspected all 6 of them this morning. 5 of the 6 have since been rectified. It would be 1024 17th Street, 2005 North Street, 1618 Richardsville Street, 1115 North Street, and 1124 East Broadway. The exception is 1224 George Street. And this gentleman that lives there, the house is titled in the name of Home Solutions out of Dallas, Texas. They actually have several properties around town. You can see here, I believe, one who's doing a used retail tire business there. You can see the pictures there. They have tires set up as if they were for sale. When he received the first letter, he cleaned up the trash in the yard and off the front porch and just simply stacked the tires all in one long row. I sent a notice to appear, received it back. They did accept it. Home Solutions in Dallas, Texas did sign for it. Said they are the registered homeowners. I'm assuming that they are a company that purchases foreclosed homes and turn around and rent them or whatever they do with them. The tires are still there. I'm still getting complaints from the neighbor, from 2 different neighbors there.
They signed for the notification?
Yes, they did. Home Solutions did.
I would make the motion that we order the property cleanup at 1224 George Street.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of ordering the property cleanup at 1224 George Street, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed. Passes on a vote of 3-0. I'd make the motion that we accept the code enforcement officer's report as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor of accepting the code enforcement officer's report as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. It passes on a vote of 3-0. George, before you leave, the 1224 George Street address, have we had that one before? Was there a guy that was doing a body shop there back in the summer?
I've never had 1224. It was 1222 Spear Street.
Spear, okay.
I was running the body shop.
Okay.
And he has since started doing work out of the garage there again, and I sent him another letter this at the end of the week.
Okay, I wasn't sure about 1224 George Street, so Thank you very much. You may want to take a police officer with you when you go.
All right.
Coordinate with the street department.
Would you like us to get on that today, or I'll coordinate with Dan?
Coordinate with the,
Hey, before you go, George, a week or two ago, there was a basketball goal in the street. How was that resolved?
I've not went back past there yet.
Where was that?
That was at 15th and Wright.
So by Longfellow,
Yes, I did talk with Chief Clark, and
it's still in the street.
is it still in the street? Okay.
It's over on the school side,
Tipton School.
Tipton School, excuse me,
Okay.
Longfellow.
I believe Chief Clark is gone today. I'll get with Assistant Chief Swan then and make sure we send an officer up there again today.
Not that I'm trying to dissent against playing basketball, but it is a safety matter.
As long as they're wearing.
Requested I then we go up and remove it. They have had certain notices to property owners have signed for certified others in the past. Qualified board's pleasure.
Nothing. We've already accepted your report. I think it becomes a police issue at this matter, and we'll let the police department handle it. Superintendent of Public Works.
Good morning. You have before you my report, the Mount Hope Cemetery and also the street department. If you'd time to thumb through that, I would answer any questions, and hopefully you will approve it.
I'm really disappointed, Dan.
Okay.
I didn't receive any compliments on you this week, and
We have a lot
you're
of people
slipping.
off work this week.
You're slipping, but
I am.
I did notice the wreaths hanging on the main entrance into Mount Hope. It looks very nice. I've never seen that before, but as usual, it looks good.
I'd make a motion to accept the superintendent of public works report.
I would second that motion. Is there any discussion? Any questions for Superintendent of Public Works? Would also ask that you coordinate with Officer Swan or Officer DJ Summers regarding another issue that came up in the summer, 508 Bate Street, and we're going to try to assist those people today in getting the rest of their belongings out of the house. Problem we ran into the last time was they took what they wanted out of the house and they threw everything else in the yard for you to clean up. So it's going to require some help from you or your staff.
I'll get with them.
You coordinate with them. We're going to try to deal with that one today for the last time.
Okay.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Did we vote on that? Carol?
Yeah, you already voted.
Okay, so we've accepted it.
I
Thank
got
you.
2 seconds.
Thank you. Logansport Fire Department.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Submitted my monthly report. Any questions on that?
None?
None? Is there any discussion on the fire chief's report? All right, hearing none, I would make the motion to accept the fire chief's report as presented.
Second?
Been moved and properly seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes on a vote of 3-0. Thank you, Chief. Police Chief, Acting Chief today, Carl Swan. Chief Neer is under the weather.
Here.
Wow.
What year was that?
Wow. Chief Clark is under the weather.
Call me, tell him you said that.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Chief Swan.
November mileage for the police department fleet was 23,723 miles. There were 1,191 incidents reported to the department. Those incidents included 79 for the animal warden. 44 adult arrests were made from those previous mentioned incidents. Of those arrests, 8 were for operating while intoxicated, 7 were drug related. There were 63 reported accidents. Of those accidents, total 51 property damage and 4 personal injury. There were 8 leaving the scene accidents. There were also 60 traffic citations and 97 traffic warnings issued for the month of November. Respectfully submitted, Michael L. Clark, Chief of Police.
Okay. Any questions for the chief? Would it be possible to get copies of that for the record? Okay, and we'd like to have those.
And make a motion to accept the police chief's report.
I would-
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Is there any questions? Any discussion for the chief? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the police chief's report as presented, please signify by saying aye.
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 She had to think about it. All right. Passes on a vote of 3-0. Are there any board member comments?
None.
Are there visitor comments? Hearing none. Miscellaneous business, including matters not already considered.
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.